So November 1st, everybody's saying they're going to go riot. They're rioting. They're going to loot. Now why November 1st? The sad thing is about SNAP benefits. During the shutdown, which will probably stop very soon, the SNAP benefits have been cut. Now the sad thing is you don't want to see anyone go without food. But right now it's trending how many people are complaining about not having food that the government should provide. And every one of the people that's made these TikToks and these reels are all able-bodied people. They said their goal though is to milk the system, and EBT and SNAP benefits should be for them always. At 20, 30, 40 years old, they said this is the government's job to feed us. But November 1st, they're saying a lot of their benefits are going to stop, so therefore we're going to see looting in the streets because when the government can't feed us, we're going to feed ourselves. Well, that's true. You should be feeding yourselves, but not like they're talking about. We're going to discuss all of these stories because it is trending. How many people are on SNAP benefits? And they said about 60% of them are able-bodied people who could work. Big deal. Also, Tucker Carlson has an announcement that I actually back, one that I support. See, this is where he has some great wisdom if he would just get off his high horse on some of the other issues. We're going to talk about what he stated and how I truly believe it. Sadly, most Republicans would be against him on this, but I do support him. And then Candace, I think, has lost her mind fully. It is Trump's fault. It's all Trump's fault. He's the problem. She's the answer. We're going to discuss how deranged she has become. Sad. We're going to dive into all these stories and a few more. Let's get started today. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here. We are humbled, again, so humbled by your support of our channel, by watching. Give us a thumbs up and sharing our content. It means the world to us. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We do a giveaway each and every month on this channel and my vlog channel, Life with Colby Mack. So please make sure you are subscribed to both channels. Now let's jump into the stories of the day. First, let's talk about this EBT situation because I think it's a very big deal. And then we're going to move right into what Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens said. Actually kind of going against each other on this one. So again, it shows how the right just doesn't make any sense anymore. But let's go through just a few of these headings dealing with November 1st and dealing with how many people are on SNAP benefits. And again, is this a bad or good thing? Now, truthfully, I want everyone to eat, especially in our country. There should be no one starving. But here's the thing I want to ask. It's kind of like when people say they're in debt up to their eyeballs. Are they in debt up to their eyeballs because they don't know how to have a budget? Or are they in debt up their eyeballs because of problems they've occurred that they couldn't help? See, that's where we have to get to the defining line. Like our government is not in debt up to their eyeballs because we don't make enough money as a government. It's because we're spending too much. So this goes back to the SNAP benefits and EBT. Do I believe that people should be fed? Absolutely. But are they putting themselves in their own problems? Are they truly in need? Let's go over some of these stories. 42 million Americans are getting EBT or other food assistance. And according to some of the statistics dealing with the 42 million, 75% of all SNAP and EBT benefits come from white American taxpayers. And it says it goes to the majority of minorities. Now, is that a bad problem? No, I'm just stating the facts, stating the obvious. Let's keep on going. This is from a gentleman who is complaining about not getting his benefits and they're going to be cut November 1st. He says, coming November 1st, if you're collecting SNAP or EBT, you're required to work. And I'm not going to work. It's not my job to work. It's my job for the government to take care of me. Another lady interviewed said, I'm fixing to get my benefits cut on November 1st. What I'm saying is people who accept SNAP and EBT should be looting starting November 1st and taking what is theirs. Now these are coming from Americans now. Another commenter. This lady's mad that she is having to work at least 20 to 30 hours a week so she can keep getting eligibility for SNAP benefits. It says that's not how the system works. We should be getting free food. Now, that's just 3 people. But if 42 million are getting SNAP benefits, and they said upwards of around 60% of that is to a point where they're not going to work. They don't want to work. It's not they don't have the ableness to work. It's the fact that they choose not to work. There's another guy interviewed and it's trending and going viral on TikTok that he said he came in this country, became a citizen, is his right as a new American citizen to be taken care of by our government. Do you see what happens when we allow our government to get so big and get so overtly controlling that we believe and we program people that the government is supposed to be the answer for this? Most of these people complaining are in their 20s and 30s. It's not 60 and 70-year-olds. It's not disabled veterans. It's not homeless individuals. It's nothing like that. It's the people who are able-bodied, able to work. And all the government is telling them to do is have work requirements. See, this is where I believe that Medicaid and food stamps, any kind of welfare program, you should have work requirements for. It's amazing how much Democrats, rhinos, and several other people complain about this, that they shouldn't have to work to get benefits from the government. Well, to be honest with you, I have to work to take care of my family, and so far I'm having to work to take care of everybody else's family. Correct? Does that make sense to you? That's called socialism. We don't want to admit that our welfare system is socialism, but that's exactly what it is. Now, in this case, it says November 1st, there's new work requirements, and people are up in arms about it. Now, here's the sad thing. People like Bernie Sanders, people like AOC, people like Zohran Mamdani, who all have a very big following, are all pushing for SNAP food assistance, along with Medicare, along with other government programs like housing and diminishment of private property. All those things are being pushed by this side of the aisle. And what they're saying is, while people are complaining about work requirements, what they're saying is they want to expand it, bring in more people in this program, and make sure that government does take and give more money. So take more money from citizens that are working and give it to the people that are not working. All we're doing is building a new dependency, of course, on the government. You know, they're building this dependency, and really, that's not a good thing. But for instance, just even look at our news media. Let's talk about this. We see a government like Trump's administration pushing for more independence, pushing for more work requirements, pushing for less coverage of the government. And we're seeing, of course, the Democrats and socialists pushing for more control, more government intervention. Now, legacy media, let's go over their numbers just right quick. It proves that everybody's working together against independence. Legacy media on their negative coverage for the Trump administration, RFK, and Elon Musk is over 96%. Pete Hegseth and Tulsi Gabbard, 100% of the stories are negative. Kristi Noem, Kash Patel, over 90% negative. President Trump himself, 96% negative. RFK, 96% negative. Meaning, legacy media is not giving any good coverage to any of these people dealing with the Trump administration. Now, who are they giving positive coverage to, and how much negative coverage to? Someone like Zohran Mamdani, that is an openly socialist, communist, that wants to abolish all this and wants more government intervention in our life. They've given 95% positive coverage, Mamdani 5% negative. So you see there how even the legacy media is working against independence. So when all these people are trending on social media telling you how bad they're going to suffer if they have to work a little bit to get, you know, EBT and SNAP, remember, this is not cutting wages and cutting benefits to people that are disabled or on Medicare. This is simply people who are of work age that is complaining that they're not going to get more SNAP benefits for their family. Should people go without food? No. But I think this system, just like anything else that the government does, is abused, and we need to get to the bottom of it. Now, before we go to what Tucker and Candace say, because it's some big parts of this video, I work for today's sponsor, Chapter. Chapter is a phenomenal benefit if you're 65 and older or about to be. I didn't realize how valuable they are until I started hearing testimonials coming back. We're talking about tight money, and we talk about people saving money. Well, the average person who uses Chapter dealing with Medicare and getting and making sure they're on the right plan saves $1,100 a month. $1,100 a month. There's been people send so many emails of positivity back about Chapter. So please check Chapter out. If you're 65 and older, if you're worried about, you know, how much you're putting on this plan, you're wondering if you have the right plan, wondering if this person is taking advantage of you, are we getting the right coverage for my doctor, for my pharmaceuticals? Chapter can help. They advise you, and right now it's open enrollment. This is the perfect time to reach out to Chapter and make sure you're on the right plan that benefits you and saves you money. When you can save money, that's the best thing possible. Check out Chapter today if you're worried about your plan or thinking you're overpaying or just want to make sure you're on the right one. chapter can help. Check with them today. I want to go to two more stories. First, let's talk about Tucker Carlson. You know, I told you a few days ago, I think they've lost their mind when it comes to their push against Israel and how they're dividing the Republicans. This actually is a movement versus libertarian and Republicans too. I actually embrace it though. This shows that to me when Tucker just speaks commonly and talks about populism and talks about the benefit of freedoms, I think he nails it. And then this, again, like I told you, balls and strikes. We call balls and strikes. In this story, I think he nails it. Listen to what he said just yesterday, and I think I've actually said this to you over the last few months. Tucker Carlson says he is convinced that the CIA created Bitcoin. That is exactly why he refuses to invest and use it. He warns that Bitcoin will one day turn into a massive scam controlled by a shadowy network of elites to manipulate politicians and tighten the grip on Americans. Carlson says coming from the government family makes him certain that mysterious anonymous founders is always the CIA. Now, I've told you this several times before. We talk about wanting parallel societies, and if BlackRock, World Economic Forum, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and every big government is telling you to invest in crypto and invest in Bitcoin, and no one can actually tell you where it comes from, it's some shadowy thing and it's safe, but somehow it can be taken from you and seized by the government, and somehow it depends on a grid, it's all speculation. No one can tell you actually what it actually is, and no one knows the founder. Why would we invest in that? It's amazing how when we invest in retirements or we buy a home or we buy a car, don't we do like Carfaxes, we do reports, we get inspections, we do all this research to make sure we're getting the best investment. And for Bitcoin, we're just supposed to just trust it? Trust me, bro, I've got it. So this is the case that I've told you before, that I think the more people get on some kind of crypto, and they're getting your biometrics anyway to hold the wallets and storages, but it's developed based on no one really knowing what the ones and zeros are, and there's no tangible goodness to it. It makes no sense why we would invest in it. We've been so brainwashed to think that crypto and Bitcoin is the new currency. If this is the new currency, then basically welcome to the world of control, and the government owns it. So say, for instance, the biggest players. I mean, we talked about America being one of the biggest whales in crypto now. What if all of a sudden everybody's putting their money on it because they want to get rich, you know, like most people think they are on crypto, and all of a sudden they tank it on purpose? Or what if all of a sudden they tank the dollar and everybody moves to crypto, and then all of a sudden they say, well, you're under control because the grid can't push certain times, and if you don't believe that'll happen, look what's happening in China right now. China went to a digitized form of currency, and they're using their social credit score. So if someone is doing something wrong or buying too much meat or going in places they shouldn't go, they cut their funds off for a while. They cut their applications off for a while. They cut their biometrics off for a while. So we talk about, well, this could be that. Well, it can be, because Bitcoin is the exact avenue, along with all these apps, along with the fact that we realized last week that AWS, with the cloud going down, that it actually put out several online banks that dealt with crypto and dealt with your money. So when Tucker says that he thinks Bitcoin is made by the government, I actually don't doubt that a bit. And if it's not, then it will definitely be controlled, because they're not going to let you have a parallel system. And if BlackRock and Larry Fink and all these biggest players in the markets are telling you to invest in it, that should make you want to run away, shouldn't it? Pay attention to this story. I think it's going to keep on getting traction, because people think they're missing out. So then they go in and invest in crypto, invest in Bitcoin, thinking this is the new way, and nobody can explain what it actually is. It's intangible, speculative currencies that's made on internet, quote unquote, mining of energy. Now, that's a mouthful. And if you can't really explain something, it probably is no good for you to invest in. So Tucker nailed it right here. Now, one more story, guys. I'm telling you, you can't make this up, man. Candace Owens comes out yesterday and says now she knows. She feels it. She's dreamed about it. She knows. Charlie's tragedy was actually caused by Trump. Trump did it. Trump did this. And instead of actually giving proof like most people would need to do as journalists and as people who are influencing millions of people a day, she just says she knows and she feels it. Look, people, this is what happens when people get too much power. Now, I tell you every day, when I do stories, I don't want you to trust me. I want you to go research. My job is just to say, hey, this is what I'm thinking, but please go do your own research. If you want to invest in Bitcoin, like I just told you I wouldn't, that's not a big deal to me, then do your research, and if you think I'm wrong, go for it. But you cannot tell me that Candace is speaking to 10 to 15 million people a day, and that she can say something like Trump did this to Charlie, and that people actually believe it, and people do. What it's doing is dividing the Republicans. Now, I know we've been talking about this kind of story lately a lot, about the division on the right. But do you see what happens with the negative news media on top of that? Negativity, along with people going viral to tell you that government needs more intervention in our life, for people telling you to invest in Bitcoin, for people telling you how bad Trump administration is, even the right wing is telling you, and then all of a sudden, the only positivity and coverage of news is simply Zohran Mamdani and a complete overhaul of government to make it more socialist and more communist. Charge you more tax, 52% to be exact, is what he wants for New York. To abolish private ownership of land, to give government-funded grocery stores, which means EBT grown exponentially, and there's no work requirements, and to fund the police, by the way. That's the people that's getting positive news, while Trump administration is getting negative news. And guess what? Candace is helping Zohran Mamdani win. You don't believe me? The Muslim Brotherhood leadership came out the other day and said, if it worked for Marjorie Taylor Greene, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, and some of these that are sharing this content against the Trump administration, against Israel, he said, we wouldn't actually have the positivity that we're having, and we're actually going to win a lot of elections through America, all because of this. We're watching the demise of America, and sadly, it's not the left that's really destroying us as much as it's our own party. Candace Owens now goes after Trump. So who's the answer? Who does she say has it right? You know who she says has it right? Herself. Oh gosh. It shows that we are selfish people, and sadly, instead of learning and trying to gain wisdom, we just become selfish. It reminds me of a politician that says they're always right and no one else is right. They always have the right answers, no one else is right. We're seeing that on the right, and it's destroying us. Pay attention to these stories. How important is helping people out? Yes, it's very important. I want people to get benefits if they need them from the government. However, I think there's a lot of abuse in the system. And the Democrats, the left, and even Candace is wanting to have more government intervention in our lives. Actually, applaud Tucker for making the comment about Bitcoin. That's probably not very popular on the right, but I believe it's complete and utter truth. Guys, let me know your thoughts on today's video. God bless.